I would like to introduce you to Ron, who you've seen a couple of times today. If you didn't know him by now, I'd be really surprised. He is an incredible human being. I've been on his Transformational Productions TV show. I've known him for the past, I think, 3 or 4 years now. It's been a while. And he's got a mission. He's got a lifelong mission to bring more radiance to the world. He combined his passion and experience in the field of personal transformation, technology, video production, and music to serve the world as a radiance coach, creator, and producer. Ron created a powerful process of transformation called the 6 Pathways to Radiance, and I think that might be a sign. He uses this unique framework to guide his clients on a journey to resolve their emotional challenges and uncover their true inner power, joy, and radiance. Please help me welcome my friend and the amazing Ron Kokia.
Thank you, Kimmy. Well, who here is on a pathway of transformation? And who wants to be and feel more radiant in their life? That's what I'm here to talk about. And I'm so excited because this is the accumulation of my life's work, the exploration that I've been doing since 1988, believe it or not. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ron Kokia. I help people that are struggling emotionally to go through their emotions and truly heal and uncover who they are inside. Because that is the most powerful and most beautiful part of you. And why radiance? Well, I actually believe that radiance is a solution to most of life's problems. And in order for me to help you to understand that, I want to take you on a little journey. And it's my journey. Back in 1988, I was in high school. And in high school, I was a little bit socially awkward, believe it or not. In fact, I got scared when I was talking to 2 people I didn't know. I couldn't stand up and talk to people, let alone the cute girl that I wanted to meet. And it stemmed from this event in my life when my parents had left me in the Philippines to create a new life for the family. But they knew that they couldn't take both of their kids into a new country where I was only 1-year-old and try to make it with only, I think, $200 in their pocket. Can you imagine that? And so they came to the United States, brought my sister, they established themselves, they actually bought a house within 2 years. They worked so hard, many jobs. And then the time came when they said, we're gonna pick up Ronald. So my dad flies to the Philippines, and there I was growing up with my grandfather as my dad and my aunt as my mom, and I was happy. One day, knock on the door. It was my dad. They made it sound fun. They said, your dad is here. He's your real dad. He's going to take you to America. Everyone wants to go to America. That's where opportunity is. And so I went along for the ride. And little did I know what was happening inside of me. I still remember the very first day. It was my birthday. I was turning 4. And I stepped out of the car and saw the stairs to the house that I was to be living in. The parents that were my parents, but I had no idea who they were. The sister that was supposed to be my sister, but she was a stranger to me. Stepped into a room and there was a roar. It was a party. Welcome, welcome. And deep inside, what I really wanted was to cry. Because they just uprooted me from my family, from my country, from my home, from my friends, from my toys, from my room. And I was supposed to be happy. And this event shaped the way I felt about me and my life. And here I was in high school where image and self-consciousness starts to creep in. And I didn't know how to work with people. I didn't know how to make friends with strangers. I had my own cozy group of friends that I was safe with. I was a little bit of a geek because I came into this country, didn't know how to play sports. So last picked in kickball, nope, you're not playing sports in the field. You're just hanging out, just sometimes by yourself. But here in high school, I was sitting down in this table and I was in this class called psychology. And it taught me something that day that changed my life. The lesson was reflective listening. And all it is that when someone said something to you, you repeat back what you heard. So we had this exercise and I'd sit in front of people that I didn't know, other classmates, and I would just reflect back. And they kept talking, and they kept talking, and they kept talking. I'm like, wow, I can actually feel comfortable talking to people just by sharing what I hear from them. I didn't have to share anything about me. And I started to make friends. I started to connect with people. And I started to connect with people who had really deep problems. People that were depressed, that were lost, going through the adolescent maze. And I would spend part of my lunchtime just doing this work because these people would tell me about how even suicidal they felt. But being there felt like I was making a difference in their lives. Yeah. And every time I talked to someone and helped them, I would feel better about myself. Up to the point when there was this time when I got a call and one of my friends had called me, Ron, I just slashed my wrist. I want it all to end. And she was on the verge of wanting to die. I comforted her. I loaned my heart, allowed her to feel her feelings. In the end, she decided no. She came to school the next day with bandages on her wrist, but she was alive. And that year, when I looked at my yearbook, I saw all these messages from people who I had touched. And that's when I knew this is what moved me and what would heal me. And at the time, I worked in the Daly City Public Library, and I checked out every book on personal growth and development. I learned as much as I can about why I was so insecure. How can I be better at this? How could I improve? How can I be a better person and live a better life? And I let that change my life. I actually went to college for my first love, which was engineering. My parents knew that I was gifted in this when they saw me taking things apart around the house to try to figure out how things worked and not being able to put them back together. But then there came a time when I decided that maybe this isn't for me. Because I went to a psychologist in college, and I realized that there were some psychologists that actually helped me through my feelings. But there were some that actually made me feel more ashamed of myself, that I started to withdraw more. And I said, wait a minute, I want to help people. I really want to help people. I want to do this. And so I talked to my parents and I said, hey, I really want to be a psychologist now. And I'd invested all this time in engineering school. And I know for a parent it's hard. And so they didn't make it easy for me to move in that route. And I said, you know what? Maybe I'll just take the route of being an engineer. You know, maybe I can do that later. And so I continued on my journey. I became an engineer. I got a job. It was difficult. And the way I did that was, again, books. How do I get better at improving myself, do better in interviews? And eventually I moved up in the chain, in the career ladder. And I decided, wait a minute, I don't really want engineering. I love computer science. Let's try that. And so I went back into the books. I studied my heart off. And I took all these certifications exam, changed my career, again, relying on how can I better myself? How can I better myself? At the point in my career when I moved up and somebody was retiring and they said, one day, I bet you Ron's going to be CIO. And I go, what? And I just overheard this. And I'm like, CIO? And I thought, wow, this is the 10th largest city in the United States and this person thinks I could be CIO. And I used to be the kid that was afraid of everything. But something had changed, because at that point in my life, I thought I had it all. I married the love of my life, my college sweetheart. We had an amazing son. I loved everyone in my life, even my in-laws, which were family to me, and I loved dearly. And we were on the way to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. And I thought, wow, here I am. I'm making 6 figures in government. I get 6 weeks off a year. I could retire at age 55 with an amazing pension, marry the love of my life. We have a house in the hills. What else can be right about my life? But as I got off the bus with my 4-year-old son, so happy to be in Disneyland, the phone rings. I answered it. It's my cousin, Roscoe. Hey, Roscoe, we're headed to the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. How are you doing? What's up? He was silent, and he said, Ron, something tragic just happened. Our 21-year-old cousin, Nino, he was hit by a drunk driver. And within 30 minutes, his life passed. Boom, it hit me. How can I be happy right now? We went to Seattle. We mourned the loss of my cousin, but there was this question that haunted me day and night. I commuted 3 hours of driving every day, and I thought, what if I was hit by a car? And what if I had fatal injuries and I only had 30 minutes to live? What would I think of my life? And that's when I saw how empty I felt inside. I thought I'd made it. I thought I had the American dream nailed down. But inside, there was a part of me that was dying. And so that's when I realized I need to follow what's in here, because any day could be my last. And that's when I said, how can I be a psychologist? Well, I don't want to go back to school. I know there's this new thing called life coaching. Let's explore that. So I went to school as a life coach, learned to be an NLP coach, learned a lot of different modalities, enrich myself as much as I can. And at the same time, I continue to try to understand, what is it? What is the core foundation of how we transform ourselves and our lives? Because I thought it was all out there. You get this, you become successful, you find love, you learn how to create powerful relationships, blah, blah, blah. But what I found is it's not out there. This whole world is so focused on external success, but success is in here. And so I started to revamp. I had started actually doing diagrams of what I thought was how we operated. As an engineer, I loved just trying to figure out how we work. And so I started to recreate and reformulate this as I went through my journey. And as I became a coach and serving more and more people, I started to try to understand, how can I make this simple? How can I help people to really understand how they can navigate their own personal growth and development? And this is what I came up with. It's called the 6 Pathways to Radiance. And it is an accumulation of my work simplified. You see, what happened to me as a child is I went through trauma. And because I went through trauma, the way I looked at the world was a little distorted. And in order to escape that, in order to really find yourself, you need to build 3 levels of awareness of yourself. And I call this your conscious awareness. And notice that all these pathways to radiance start with P. There's presence, perspective, and purpose. I'm going to go through each one. So presence is the conscious awareness of how you feel. There is a spectrum of who you are, of how you feel. And some parts of my life, I was very aware of what I felt, especially when my cousin had passed. But there were times in my life where I was just numb. And I just allowed myself to push myself to, I need to work harder, I need to be more successful, I need to make more money, I need to do this, this, and this. And I stopped listening. But on the other end of the spectrum is where you could really feel what you truly are feeling. And this is the pathway to true freedom. Because if you never deal with your feelings, they just grow or they manifest into something else in your life. We live in a world of coping, a society where entertainment, drugs, alcohol, you turn on the TV, there's antidepressant medicine. How do we deal with our emotions in this society? Mask it, cover it up, buy something, make you feel good. But the real path is to embrace the feeling. And the reason why it's so difficult is because each pathway has a relationship with the opposite, and that is peace. If we don't know how to deal with our feelings, why should we even listen to them? And I found that in order to find peace, one of the best ways, I've studied various different modalities, is to quiet the mind. Because it is the mind that propagates the story. It is the mind that creates the emotion or amplifies it. And I had found that when you listen to your body, you actually can work through your emotions. In fact, a study was done where psychologists were trying to figure out why were some patients so much more successful in their therapy than others. And so they started to record every single session to try to understand what is different between a successful patient and one that just gets locked up into their own same patterns. And they had found that when they asked questions to the patients, it wasn't the question they asked, it wasn't how good was the psychologist, it was how they received it. The people that actually paused, felt in their body, and then answered were the ones that were more successful. In fact, I learned this new modality that's called emotional resolution that has mastered the way that you can do this in a way that you can actually move through your emotions. And I offer that to my clients as a way to find peace. And I encourage all of you, if you feel any sense of emotion, to pause. Notice, are you trying to do something with it? And just let go and close your eyes and feel it in your body. It is not threatening that way. What you'll notice is every single emotion is a series of sensations in the body that we interpret with the mind. And when we allow ourselves to just feel that emotion, it evolves and we go through it. In fact, this is one of the powerful modalities that helped me through my own trauma. When my son had a mysterious illness and I found him on the floor in pain, and the doctors did not know what was wrong with him. And I tried therapy, I tried EMDR, I tried my old tapping techniques, and they would help dull it, but it was this modality that completely cleared that fear. So I want to quickly just go over the other awarenesses. The other awareness is perspective. Are you looking at your life from a place of true inner power and strength and possibility? Like this world is supporting you? Or are you looking at your life like you're a potential victim? Like you watch the news and you see that all these threats and all these things that could threaten you, your financial security, your relationships. Be conscious of that. And I know I have very little time left, so I just want to share a little bit about the other pathways. Purpose is, are you connecting to your true purpose like I did when I woke? Or are you allowing the world to define who you are? Are you allowing them to motivate, to be the motivation for your actions? Or are you actually pausing and looking inside? And when you do connect with your purpose, true purpose, that's when your real power comes out in life. Each one of you are very special. When you take off the layers, the mask, the judgment, and all of that, it's like being a child again. And when you ever watch a child who's playing and laughing and enjoying life, We all have that energy. We all have that life. We all have that beauty inside of us. I want you to feel that again. Because when you do, your life will transform like mine did. Thank you.
Are you a speaker looking to reach more people with your message? You have a global vision that you want to touch the world and make a global difference. If so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's called the Speaker Talent Search. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. You'll find all the details, but here are the highlights. With one application process, you get clarity on your message. You get to fine-tune how you want to reach the world. Then you'll have everything ready in one place for the opportunities when they come. Second, we select you as a finalist. You get to come in and audition with a 7-minute audition, open up the door to hundreds of speaking opportunities. I hope you lean in. I hope you say yes. We would love to hear your message. Help you touch the world powerfully. Again, that's the speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your powerful message.